So it took 3 weeks, but Oda finally made his mind, and we have the new chapter that is definitely nothing amazing like probably someone would have want, but it's still interesting. It's still interesting for a pair of factors. So for first, I want to talk about the fact that I said in the last review that I was starting to feel worried about the elders since when I saw the atomic bombs that Luffy reflected. I was very worried, trying to think about if those guys managed to reach the Straw Hats because they're really scared, and this happened in this new chapter. They really reached some of the Straw Hats, and they are feeling terribly scaring. So this happened. The confrontation is starting, and I don't know. I really have no idea what the heck will happen. Who the heck will save them? Because like they are really despicable. They are really merciless. So I don't know. Every time they manage to save themselves, the weaker Straw Hats in some random way, and I don't know what will happen now. If it's real that Bonnie will manage to like copy Luffy's power, maybe can do something. But in the other group, Bonnie is not with them. Like we have, I think Nami, Chopper, and Aesop. Like I don't really know. Like we are underestimating Aesop, and I always think that probably Aesop should have some ace up his sleeve, some super crazy plan to maybe do something, stop enemies. Maybe they can like try to poison them, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what will happen. Now let's talk about the other thing. Actually, there are two more things, but the first one, the most important one for me, and it's the reason why I say that Oda finally made his mind. And talking about the fact that in the last chapters, this transmission of Vegapunk was going ahead, and Lucci said, if I'm not wrong, that there were still 6 minutes left. Like, and that was strange because it looked like the time stopped. We had to just wait 10 minutes, and after 3 chapters, I think we were still stuck at 6 minutes left. So it means that essentially just barely more than a minute passed for every chapter, and that was bad because if you use logic, you'll think that maybe we need still 10, still 6 chapters to need the end of the pre-transmission to enter the true transmission that will tell about this super ultimate truth about the world of One Piece, right? Instead, Oda, like during these 3 weeks, he decided to speed up the process. And this time, in this chapter, they say that there is just a single minute left. This is funny. I make that joke with a friend saying it's like during these 3 weeks of pause, there weren't any chapters, but the time of the transmission kept going, so we got minutes for every extra week, and now there is 1 minute left. So from 6 minutes during these weeks, 5 more minutes pass, and now there is just a minute left. Was just a stupid joke. So Oda made his mind, and this means that at most in two more chapters we reach the end. But since Mars, I think it's Mars, reached the potential source of the transmission, maybe next chapter will actually be the last one before the final truth is kinda revealed or starts to get revealed. So this means that maybe chapter 11, 13 will be the last one before, and maybe from chapter 11, 14, or at most 11, 15, this ultimate truth will start to get revealed. So last thing we can kind of talk about is Okay, for first, let's. An interesting thing is that Luffy punches in gear third the boar in his head and he hurts himself. But this is not because gear third Luffy is not strong at all. Keep this in mind. Maybe you don't know that, obviously, because if you're not an expert or if you never had animals, you can't really know that. But boars have a very, very strong head, extremely strong. That's why. So that elder retains the true characteristic of the animal is transforming in. That's interesting. So that's why the head of the board is very strong. But usually boards are less strong in other parts. So for example, you need to punch them in the face, in the nose, or other parts. And so yes, Luffy stops the another interesting thing. The worm. It looked like since he got cutted previously, it looked like he was just trying to absorb everything from his cutted head. And when Luffy throws the part of the palace in his head, you actually see a small part of his face. But if you look carefully, underneath that, there is the rest of the body. So it's not just that piece of head that is trying to suck everything. He reattached himself to the rest of the body, and the thing just got stuck in the head. But then underneath that, there is the rest of the body of the worm. This is another small particular. Um, and then after this, the last thing that there is not much else to talk about all of this. As always, Luffy eats and gets back his energy. They keep showing over and over, but at this point, I don't know anymore if Luffy is really about to die because he keeps using these crazy powers, or if all of this is just a big joke made by his imagination, thinking that he loses energy and he can retain energy by eating food. So at this point, we don't know anymore what's the truth about those bad and scary forms he takes when it looks like he's out of energy. For example, we don't see Luffy transforming into his small version anymore. Is that because he learned how not to take that drawback, or is because in this imagination he's not imagining that thing happening anymore? Because his fruit makes so that things that he imagines becomes reality. So at this point, we don't know anymore what's the truth. If he really has drawbacks, or if he thinks he's invincible, he will actually become really invincible. And at the end of all these tales, another good thing that I loved about this chapter is that it's much easier to understand the position of every kind of character, what is happening around the island. This is much more clear, and like I think this is something that happens thank you to the weeks of pause, because usually chapters are way more chaotic. Instead, this one was clearer. Not only paintings were clearer and also better than usual, probably, but it was also much easier to understand what is happening around the island. And again, at the end of everything, we see one of the Vegapunk clones jumping down, thinking that he has a 78% chance of surviving, or that he will take only 78% damage going through the barrier. I don't know very well what is his plan, what he want to do, why he's jumping down. And then at the end, again, we see Mars. I said this previously, but then we moved to talk about other things. That he reached this part with their mission, and we hear sounds of something like water. It looks the sound of some little bubbles of water falling from the ceiling, like I don't know, like something is about to fall down, something, I don't know, a lot of water that is about to fall down and submerge everything. Or maybe there is the guy that can transform himself into liquid, that it's there, was waiting for Mars to stop him. He was sent there as a mission by the Blackbeard pirates. Oh wait, if I'm not wrong, he could capture. I don't remember the name. The strange guy with the long tongue. He could capture people inside himself and then make them go outside, like it's an extra dimension. Could it be that it's really him, and he has the Blackbeard's pirates inside him, ready to ambush whoever enters that thing of that room of transmission? Maybe that's what is about to happen. The Blackbeard pirates are still there and will attack Mars. I don't know. Or maybe yes, it's just water about to fall down and float everything, complicating things for Mars. Well, they're still they should still be devil fruit users. So maybe maybe it's a trap against devil fruit users. Maybe water will fall down instantly, and that will be enough to stop him, preventing him from using his powers and weakening him. There are a bunch of hypotheses here, and that's definitely the most interesting thing about this chapter. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens next time. I like this chapter, not amazing, but I love the fact that thank you to the extra time they managed to do this and make the chapter much clearer. To me, this chapter is a solid 7.5. This is what I think. Obviously, nothing amazing happens again, but I like the fact that you know that the story is really moving forward finally, and I think it creates enough hype for the next ones. So let's hope that on the next ones we'll see something amazing. In this chapter, we didn't see Borsellino, we didn't see the giant robot, so those things are still put on a hold. We'll see if they will appear in the next chapters, if they will finally do actually something interesting. We'll see. Even if it's what with the robot will probably do is trying to save the guys at the last time so that they run, or the final fight against the five elders will really happen like I thought in other moments. They talk about running away, but then at the end they will really fight them. Maybe things will change and they will understand that they have the power to just defeat them and there without having to wait. We will see. Thank you to everyone that took a look at this stream. There is Rufy, not Luffy, Rufy, and that's Nami. I decided to call him Rufy because I think in Japanese they say Rufy, not Luffy. But then in English we translated that as Luffy, while in Italian we translated that as rubber. Rubber. I think we are the only one that totally destroyed the name of Luffy. That it's very important. Even if future translations and dubs, we changed that back to Luffy. And so we have Nami and Rufy here with me. I'm not Jake. Thank you for taking a look and listening to me. And you can check other contents here in this channel and on my other channels. You find everything in the description. We can talk about everything you want, obviously, in the comments. Bye bye. I wish you the best, guys.